Hello children, today we are going to start chapter 13. The name of the chapter is Exponents and Powers. Now look at the board. Here you can see some very large numbers. Can you read these numbers? It is very difficult, no? So if you want to compare these very large numbers, for example, if you want to compare mass of the earth, mass of the Uranus, that also very difficult. So we can say that it is very difficult to compare or understand or read these very large numbers. So we can write these very large numbers in a shorter form using exponents. So this chapter we are going to learn about exponents. What is meant by an exponent and what is the exponential form of a number. Now you know that 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. 2 is added 5 times. How can you write this one? We can write as 5 times 2. 2 is added 5 times. That means 5 into 2, which is equal to 10. Now suppose if a number is multiplied by itself several times. For example, 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. Here 2 is multiplied by itself 5 times. The number 2 is multiplied by itself how many times? 5 times. So this one we can write in a shorter form. Which number is multiplied by itself? 2 is multiplied. So first you write 2. Then how many times it is multiplied? Now count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So after writing 2, right hand side up you have to write how many times it is multiplied? 5 times. And we can read it as 2 raised to the power of 5. 2 raised to the power of 5. And this 2 raised to the power 5, that is known as the exponential form. Exponential form. Now we know that 2 into 2, 4, 4 into 2, 8, 8 into 2, 16, 16 into 2 is equal to 32. So the number 32 we can write as 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2, which is equal to, the number 2 is multiplied by itself 5 times. So first you write 2, right hand side up you have to write how many times it is multiplied. So 5 times, and we can read it as 2 raised to the power of 5, or simply the 5th power of 2. 5th power of 2. And if you consider 2 raised to the power 5, 2 is known as the base. 2 is known as the base. And 5 is known as the exponent or power or index. Exponent or power or index. So 2 raised to 5 is the exponential form of the number 32. 2 is known as the base and 5 is known as the exponent. Now we can consider another example. The number 4 is multiplied by itself 6 times. 4 into 4 into 4 into 4 into 4 into 4. The number 4 is multiplied by itself how many times here? 6 times. So we can write it as the number 4 is multiplied. So first you write 4 and it is multiplied by itself how many times? 6 times. So right hand side up you write 6. And we can read it as 4 raised to the power 6. 4 raised to the power 6. 4 raised to the power 6 or 4 raised to the power of 6, or we can say that 6th power of 4. and this 4 raised to 6 is the exponential form, and in 4 raised to 6, 4 is known as the base. 4 is known as the base and 6 is known as the exponent or power or index. 6 is known as the exponent or power or index. So, when a number is multiplied by itself, we can write it in a shorter form using the exponents, and the form is known as the exponential form, and in the exponential form the number which is repeated and that is known as the base, and how many times it is repeated, that we have to write it as the exponent. Now, sometimes the base can be a negative integer also. For example, negative 4 into negative 4 into negative 4 into negative 4. Now, look at that. The integer negative 4 is repeated. How many times it is repeated? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times it is repeated. So, the integer negative 4 is repeated. So, first you write negative 4, and how many times it is repeated? 4 times. Right hand side up, write down that number. That means it is repeated 4 times. And how can you read this one? Negative 4 raised to the power of 4 or fourth power of negative 4. And here negative 4 is known as the base and 4 is known as the exponent. Negative 4 is known as the base and 4 is known as the exponent. Now consider the one. Negative 1 raised to the power 1. What is meant by negative 1 raised to the power 1? Negative 1 is repeated only one time. So the answer is negative 1. Now, negative 1 raised to the power 2. So, what is the meaning of that? Negative 1 is multiplied by itself 2 times. So, negative 1 into negative 1. So, what is negative 1 into negative 1? It is a positive integer. So, the answer is a positive 1. When you multiply two negative integers, you will get the product as a positive integer. So, 1 into 1, positive 1, and the negative sign, when two negative sign comes, the product is always a positive. So, negative 1 into negative 1 equal to positive 1. Now, again, negative 1 raised to the power 3. So, we can write as negative 1 into negative 1 into negative 1. Negative 1 is multiplied by itself 3 times. So, which is equal to negative 1 into negative 1, you will get the product as a positive integer 1. 1 into negative 1. So, the product is a negative 1. So, negative 1 raised to the power 3, the answer is a negative 1. Now, negative 1 raised to the power 4. So, negative 1 is repeated 4 times. So, negative 1 into negative 1 into negative 1 into negative 1. Then, what is the product? When you multiply two negative integers, the product is a positive, that is 1. Again, into negative 1 into negative 1, here also you will get the product as 1. So, 1 into 1, so the answer is a 1. Now, we can consider one more example. Negative 1 raised to the power 5. So, what is the meaning of that? Negative 1 is repeated 5 times. So, negative 1 into negative 1 into negative 1 into negative 1 into negative 1. So, what is the product? Negative 1 into negative 1, you will get 1. Again, into negative 1 into negative 1, here also you will get 1 into negative 1. So, 1 into 1, 1, 1 into negative 1. So, the result is negative 1. Then, similarly, negative 1 raised to the power 6, which is equal to negative 1 into negative 1 is multiplied by itself how many times? 6 times. So, equal to into negative 1 into negative 1 into negative 1, then equal to When you multiply two negative integers, it is positive. So 1 into, again negative 1 into negative 1, again 1 into negative 1 into negative 1, again 1. So 1 into 1 into 1, you will get it as a 1. So from the above examples, what did you understand? So when negative 1 raised to the power is an odd integer, odd number, okay, odd number, negative 1 raised to the power is an odd number, the product is always 1, negative 1. So the result is always negative 1. Then again, negative 1 raised to, if the power is an even number, the result is always positive 1. So negative 1 raised to, if you are taking it the odd power, for example, if you are taking it as 7, then the result is negative 1. Then negative 1 raised to 100. 100 is an even number. So the result is 1. Similarly, negative 1 raised to 99. 99 is an odd number. So the result is negative 1. Now look at that. The products are given. Now we have to write it in the exponential form. Now look at that. The number 3 is multiplied by itself. How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times. So how we can write it in the exponential form? First you write 3. Then how many times it is multiplied? 5 times. Therefore right hand side up, write 5. And how can you read this one? 3 raised to the power 5. 3 raised to the power 5 or 3 raised to the power of 5. Anyway, you can say 3 raised to the power 5 or 3 raised to the power of 5. Then in 3 raised to 5, or you can simply say that 3 raised to 5. In 3 raised to 5, base is 3, base equal to 3 and exponent is 5. Base is 3 and exponent is 5. Now look at that. 5 into 5 into 5 into 5 into 5. The number 5 is multiplied by itself. How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So how we can write it in the exponential form? First you write 5. Then how many times it is multiplied by itself? 6 times. So right hand side up, write 6. So how can you read this one? 5 raised to the power 6. 5 raised to the power 6, or simply we will say that 5 raised to 6. Then in 5 raised to 6, base equal to 5 and exponent is equal to 6. Then again, negative 4 into negative 4 into negative 4. Negative 4 is multiplied by itself how many times? 3 times. So negative 4. Then right hand side up you write 3. So we can write it as how we can read it? Negative 4 raised to the power, negative 4 raised to the power 3. Then here base is a negative integer. So base equal to negative 4 and the exponent is equal to 3. Base is negative 4 and exponent is 3. Now, so instead of the integers, here we selected the variable m. M into m into m into m into m. So here m is multiplied by itself. How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So first you write m, right hand side up, write 7. So how can you read this one? M raised to the power 7. M raised to the power 7. Here in m raised to 7, what is the base? Base is m, base equal to m and the exponent equal to 7. Base is 7 and the exponent equal to 7. Then again, these exponents we can call it as powers or index. And these some powers or some exponents have some special names. Now look at that. 10 raised to the power 2. What is meant by 10 raised to the power 2? 10 is multiplied by itself how many times? 2 times. So 10 raised to the power 2 means it is a 10 into 10. Base is 10 and the exponent or power is 2. Then 10 raised to the power 2, we can read it as 10 squared or 10 square. We can read it as a 10 squared. So some powers or some exponents are special names. So if the exponent is 2, we can say it as a 10 squared or 10 square. That means the number is multiplied by itself 2 times only. 2 times, then we can say that it is a 10 squared or 10 square. Then similarly, 10 raised to the power 3. 10 raised to the power 3 means 10 is multiplied by itself 3 times. Therefore, this 10 raised to the power 3, we can read it as, again we can read it as what? 10 cubed. So instead of saying 10 raised to the power 3, we can say that it is 10 cubed. That means 10 is multiplied by itself 3 times. Then it is a 10 cubed, or we can say that 10 cube. So 10 cube or 10 cubed means 10 into 10 into 10. 10 is multiplied by itself 3 times. Similarly, if the power is 2 or if the exponent is 2, we can say that it is a 10 squared. And if the power is 3, we can say that it is a 10 cubed. So no need to say that 10 raised to the power 3. We can say that it is a 10 cubed or 10 cube. Similarly, when the power comes as 2, we can say that it is a 10 squared or 10 square. Now we come to the definition. If a is an integer, then a into a into a is multiplied by itself m times. This m can be any number, 5 times, 6 times or 100 times. Then we can write it as a raised to the power m. The number a is multiplied by itself m times, which is equal to a raised to the power m. And a is known as the base and m is known as the exponent or power or index. And a raised to m is the exponential form. Now look at that, some numbers are given. We can write these numbers or we can express these numbers in the exponential form. Then how we can write it in the exponential form of this number, or with respect to some powers, how we can write it. So what we have to do is, we have to do the prime factorization. Now take the first number 243. Now we can do the prime factorization. 243. Now we can start with the 3. 3 8s are 24. 1. Then again with the 3. 27. Again with the 3. 9. Then 3. 3 3s are 9. Again with the 3. 1. Then 243 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. 3 is multiplied by itself or 3 is repeated 5 times. So we can write 3 into 3 into 3 into 3 into 3. Then which is equal to the number 3 is multiplied by itself 5 times. So first you write 3 and right hand side up write 5. So 243 is equal to 3 raised to the power 5 or 3 raised to 5. And what is 3 raised to 5? 3 into 3 into 3 into 3 into 3. And when you multiply the prime factor 3 5 times, you will get the number 243. Now second one, 64. Then you factorize 64. 2 3s are 6. 2 2s are 4, again with the 2, 32 is an even number, so we can start with the 2, then again 16, again with the 2, 8, 2, 2 4s are 8, again 2, 2 2s are 4, again with the 2, 1. Now here 2 is repeated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. So which is equal to 2. First you write 2. Then how many times 2 is multiplied by itself? 6 times. So right hand side up, write 6. So 2 raised to the power 6. And we can say that 2 raised to the power 6 is equal to which one? 64. Therefore the number 64 we can express in a powers using with the 2 as the base. So we can write it as 2 raised to the power 6. Then next 72. Third one 72. Now 72. 72 is an even number, so we can start with the 2. 2 3s are 6, 2 6 are. Then 2, 18, again 2, 9, 3, 3, then 3, 1. Now here you can see that 2 is repeated 3 times and 3 is repeated 2 times. So we will write 2 into 2 into 2 into 3 into 3. Then 2 into 2 into 2. 2 is repeated 3 times. So we will write 2 raised to the power 3 into 3 is repeated 2 times. So we will write 3 raised to the power 2. Therefore the number 72 can be expressed as a 2 raised to the power 3 into 3 raised to the power 2. So that's all for today's class. Thank you.